Hello and welcome once again to the Kate and Eric Show podcast. Wherever you listen to your podcast, you're listening to this one. So I am back. We are back from our trip from Florida the return trip we did in one single drive. we did the whole thing in one drive. If you're just new to the show, welcome to the show. If you're a continuing listener, thank you very much. I appreciate it very much. Well, first, let's get the things out of the way here, then we'll kind of get into this, because I've got some thoughts about the trip and some other things that have happened in the last couple of weeks. But you can find me on Facebook, X, TikTok, YouTube, and Truth Social, Kate and Eric Show on all of those. So, welcome back. It is it's not so nasty anymore. It was quite nasty when we came back. I am so thrown off on the days of the week. Now, that kind of happens when you go on vacation. It wasn't, we didn't really go on vacation. We went for a funeral to Florida. You're probably thinking, dang, that's a bad place to do a funeral with Southern Florida. But yeah, we were driving around. I'm looking, we're in shorts, we're in flip-flops, in a long sleeve t-shirt. It's just beautiful. The whole area is absolutely gorgeous. That's where my wife and stepsons are from. So we're down there for a funeral. It was a beautiful funeral. Beautiful area of the country. All I can think of when I was down there, this is DeSantis' home right here. This is DeSantis' state is where we are at. So it was great. It was nice to be down there, and it was to have her show me, my wife, to show me around where she lived or grew up, her houses, just different things. We did go to the ballpark of the West Palm Beaches, is where the Houston Astros and the Washington Nationals, hold their, if you can tell, I don't really like them very much since they beat us in 2019 World Series, which is total crap, because now their team is crap. So I've always said that was just, they got lucky that year, that's all. But anyway, so we went there. Because I do a sports update. If you're new to the show, I do a little sports. Which big news is that Jim Harbaugh, the former Michigan head coach, is now the head coach of the Chargers. I don't know if they're Los Angeles or San Diego anymore, but I don't know. They're over there somewhere. But anyway, so we went over to the ballpark of the West Palm Beaches, and the ballpark is just absolutely beautiful. There's palm trees. It's kind of funny. There's these little ponds, or large ponds there with lakes, and the signs are always around that are like, "Hey, watch out for alligators." My wife's going over. I mean, she's from there, and I'm like, "Hey, watch out for the alligators." She's like, "Please, I'm from here. I know what the crap I'm looking for." But anyway, so it wasn't open. I just wanted to go there and just see where the Astros do their spring training, spring training comes up here in about a month. So hooray, we'll have some baseball. So that's awesome. But anyway, it's a beautiful area. I would love to go down there to see a spring training game. And no kidding. I mean, you always hear it, because they've always told me that, yeah, you're just right there, looking at the players. They're just right there in your face. You can go up and just see them real close, and they weren't kidding. Where everything is real close. Where they practice and all that kind of stuff. But anyway, it was just a beautiful area. If you have a chance to go down to South Florida for a vacation or anything, please do. The seafood was amazing. I tried some fish that I'd never tried before. There was this fish called the hog snapper or something like that, and I'm sitting there thinking, being from Texas, it's like the hogs that are here, they're just nasty and ugly, and yeah, I wouldn't eat the hogs. But the hog snapper, amazing. It's a white meat fish, and it's just spectacular. The food down there is spectacular. Everything was just beautiful. But anyway, so let's kind of get into some of this here. As always, do a little sports update. The Niners beat the Packers, so that was hard because I like both of them. Both grandparents or grandfathers they rooted. They were, one of them has always rooted for the 49ers, and then my other grandpa always rooted for the Packers. So it was kind of a difficult. It's been many years since they passed away, but anyway, but it was sad that the Niners had to beat the Packers. It was a close game. It was a great game. But yeah, it was sad that they had to. I went for the Niners because I was a Niners fan before I was a Packers fan. But and unfortunately, the Houston Texans got knocked out by Baltimore. So the NFC Championship game will face the 49ers and the Lions. And on the other side, the Chiefs and the Ravens will play in the AFC. So then we'll have the Super Bowl in a couple of weeks. And then, yeah, watch a little basketball. It's funny because the team, whenever the two games that I've actually watched a little bit of BYU basketball, their men's basketball team, they've both lost. So they lost the one game that I was watching to Cincinnati, and then my stepson who goes to Texas Tech, they were playing Tech. While we were in Florida, we were kind of watching that game, and BYU ended up losing that game. So it was, I guess I'm not going to watch them, and then they'll win. But that's kind of the sports update for right now. There's no baseball, college football's over, and yeah, don't really watch. I don't watch the NBA. Me and a guy at the gym the other day were talking about hockey, and I kind of want to get into that, but. Anyway, there's been a lot of fun things happen in the last couple of weeks since I did a podcast, since I did an episode. We had the Iowa caucus, we had the Iowa primaries, the New Hampshire primaries. Texas is trying to secure our southern border, and the Biden administration is doing their damnedest to make sure that it stays wide open. Texas is trying to secure our border, the job of the federal government. And the Biden administration is saying no. And then you got the Supreme Court siding with Biden and telling Texas, yeah, they have to allow federal agents back in to the border there. But Texas is, it's just insane that a state has to secure the country's southern border, the border of Texas and Mexico, and the federal government is fighting against that state. It's just pathetic. So there's that to talk about here. I've got plenty of clips. I got some parodies that I'll do. So we'll get into this. And then also, one thing that I wanted to mention a couple weeks ago that I did not. So I'll start with that, actually, since that's the thing I forgot. There's just so much insanity. But we are kind of in a proxy war with a whole bunch of people at the moment. The United States is. I mean, you've got the Ukraine with Russia. We're in a proxy war with Russia, funding Ukraine. Which hopefully the funding there will stop because we can't afford it, quite frankly. Proxy war, we're helping Israel fight Hamas, but it's, I think it's kind of us that's telling Israel, hold your horses there, and don't, it's just amazing, the amount of patience and, just fortitude that Israel has with some of the stupidity that is happening around the world. And then, we're kind of in a proxy war with Iran again, with Iran. So the one thing that I wanted to talk about here is one thing that I've never understood is that there are pirates. There's still pirates, the pirates, you got the Jack Sparrow pirates going around. But one thing I don't understand is they pull up to these massive shipping container ships, and they come up with they've got food and trying to pretend that they're merchants, and then they have these little dinky little boats that come up to these massive container ships, and then they can board them, because I've seen different videos of where they board these ships, because these ships put barbed wire and they shoot the pirates with water guns, these big water cannon things. One thing I don't quite understand is why, a few hundred years ago, when a merchant ship was being attacked by pirates, they shot cannonballs and they shot musket balls at them to destroy them. Why are we shooting big water cannons and putting barbed wire on the ships today? I mean, did we not learn how to defend our merchant container ships from the pirates back in like the Pirates of the Caribbean kind of time period? Is that, I mean, I don't understand why they aren't armed with, I don't know, either like a private security or I don't know, put like a 10-pound cannon on these things and start blowing these pirate ships out of the water. I don't understand that. It just baffles my mind that and the big problem is that these pirates are blocking the Red Sea and that whole area there around Saudi Arabia and Africa, and then they're actually firing upon us as well, attacking the U.S. ships. And then one thing that I saw is that I don't think they've killed any of our troops, but the Houthi, or however you say their name, Houthi, whatever their stupid name is that they're attacking us, and then we're bombing them, and you got Biden out there saying, oh, one thing that I've told them is don't. He said that about Russia and Putin to don't. Strong don't, because they're going to listen to that when I say don't. That's what he's telling these pirates and these terrorists and stuff to don't. And anyway, but I just don't understand it. I don't understand how these little pirate guys and these dinky little ships are causing so much problems in that area of the world. I don't understand that. And, we're bombing other installations. It's just funny that the whole, the Democrats and the liberals are all like, well, Trump's going to start World War III. Trump's going to get us into all these wars. Trump's going to do this. Trump's going to be a dictator. Trump's going to blah, 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 blah. And that's exactly what has happened during the Biden administration. There were no new wars with Trump. Russia did not attack Ukraine. There was not a major problem with China and Taiwan like there is right now. I mean, there hasn't been any firing or invading. Our southern border was pretty good during Trump. He went all the way to North Korea and met with what's his face? I can't remember what his fat face is now, but he went over and met with him. And there were no new wars. How many new wars now has there been in the last 3 years? Well, let's see. There's Ukraine that is like 2 or 3 years old now, and there's no end in sight of that. There's no calls for ceasefire for that. Israel was attacked, and it's the circumstances for that is just bizarre because usually, they are amazing at intelligence, so it's kind of weird that massive of a scale got past their intelligence. But there's that. There's the problem now with Iran because the Biden administration freed up a whole bunch of their money, the $6 billion that they freed up for Iran. And, how have they used that money? Oh, they bought rockets. They bought, they funded terrorists. And then they have these terrorists come and attack our guys. And it's just a lovely day. This is a lovely day. This is great. Isn't it great with Biden as the president of the United States? This is great. He can't figure out how to get off stage. He can't figure out how to talk. Speaking of him talking, one of the parodies that I have today is a guy who just speaks everything that Biden has ever said, that it's ridiculous and stupid, and it's really hilarious. It's really well done. But I don't understand how these little dinky pirates over in freaking Iran are causing so many problems. Just blow them out of the water. I don't understand it. It doesn't make any sense to me. But so pray for the troops that are over there because they are being attacked by these dirtbags. And then over here, you've got... let's get into I'm sure everybody by now has seen the results of New Hampshire and Iowa. I mean, Trump just kicked the crap out of all of them. I mean, with DeSantis and Haley, he kicked both of their butts combined. So, and then DeSantis has dropped out. Vivek has dropped out. Chris Christie has dropped out. I mean, Trump won by 50. It was 51-21. DeSantis was the next closest, and Nikki Haley's is coming around, and I've got some things about her that hopefully you've heard of, but if not, this will be news to you. But yeah, she got her butt kicked 19% in Iowa, and then New Hampshire was even worse for her. You've got Trump at 54%, Nikki Haley 43%, so, double-digit win there as well. The rest of them had like 0.7, 0.5, 0.3, 0.1. And there's a lot on this list from New Hampshire. I mean, what the crap? Like Glenn McPeters, he got 50 votes. Congratulations, Glenn. Don't know who you are. Anyway, so yeah, Trump is just kicking butt here all over the place in these primaries, and then Nikki Haley's is still sticking around. Everybody else has dropped out, but she has decided she's going to stick around and be a nuisance. Let's take a listen to some of the things that she has to say.
Not run as President Trump ran. I'm Nikki Haley, and I'm running for president. I will not now, not ever, support raising the gas tax. Let's increase the gas tax by 10 cents over the next 3 years. A huge issue that I'll deal with as soon as I get there is social media. They need to verify every single person on their outlet and I want it by name. I never said government should go and require anyone's name. I think.
So that real quick, I mean, this show in particular, actually, if you're listening to the show, Eric is not my last name. So it's just, yeah, so I would have to come out. Caden is absolutely my first name, but Eric is not my last name. So she would want me to give, I mean, not that I have a problem with that, but it's just, my last name doesn't really work as far as a show goes. So I chose something different. So, like, you've got one of the, Publius was Benjamin Franklin. The Scarlet Dogood letters were written by Benjamin Franklin. You had the Federalist Papers, who we know now were written by Hamilton and Madison and John Jay, but they went under aliases to help people see that the Constitution was in fact a good thing. And of course, with Nikki Haley here, yeah, she doesn't want that. She wants everybody out there by name, and my face is all over my socials, so I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with defending any of my positions, but that's kind of how we got started, was aliases, different things. But yeah, anyway.
China's been a really great friend of ours. Yes, I view China as an enemy. That was not what I intended to say. I do not think we need to pull money from the UN. The UN, the only thing is we would defund the UN as much as possible.
When a 12-year-old child in this country assigned female at birth says, actually, I feel more comfortable living as a boy, what should the law allow the response to be?
Well, I think the law should stay out of it, and I think parents should handle it. I think there should be federal involvement. You should not have any gender-altering anything done to a child before the age of 18.
So just some interesting things there. She's a bit hypocritical on a whole bunch of different things. And the fact that she wants to just continue to pay for this Ukrainian war here, that it has nothing to do with us. As a country as a whole, it has everything to do with Biden and Hunter and their corrupt business crap. That's all that has to do with. And it's just a huge, big money laundering, huge and big, that's the same thing. But, it's just a huge money laundering scheme. So, yeah, it's just, that's who she is. But she's going to stick it out. She'll stick it out for her hometown or her home state of South Carolina. But we'll see how that goes. I wonder if she gets beat there as well, if she's going to stay in the race. Because, Nikki, we don't want you. You're not a conservative. Republican, probably name only a rhino. Yeah, just bye. See you later. You're getting your butt kicked every day and twice on Sundays. But yeah, then the fake news media, the liberal media didn't like the fact that Trump is crushing everybody, and they didn't even MSNBC didn't even air his acceptance speech of Iowa, and I doubt it that they did. If I can do that one, which was about a week ago. They are not. They certainly didn't do New Hampshire either. But this is kind of their freak out.
The big picture takeaway from that, and I don't mean to be, again, too dark, as you said, on this, but it is not, if we are worried about the rise of authoritarianism in this country, we are worried about potential rise of fascism in this country, if we're worried about our democracy falling to an authoritarian and potentially
we're not a
fascist
democracy.
form of government, the leader who is trying to do that is part of that equation. But people wanting that is a much bigger part of that equation. And the American electorate is made up of two major parties. One of those parties has been flirting with extremism on the ultra-right for a very long time. They've brought them in a way that they haven't been central to Republican electoral politics ever before, and I know because I've been studying this. But once you have radicalized one major party so that those are the preferences of the people who adhere to your party, the leader is interchangeable. And yes, Trumpism is sometimes what we call it. MAGA movement is probably a better way to do it. But there is an authoritarian movement inside Republican politics that isn't being bamboozled by Trump. They are pushing Trump to get more and more extreme, because the more extreme things he says, the more they adhere to it. And that is coming from a very large proportion of the American right that adheres to the Republican Party. And that's why this is a Republican Party problem more than it is the problem of one man and his leader.
So they, these people are so just completely out of touch with the hopes, the dreams, and the desires of the American people. It is just, everything she described there, she says it's the right that is super extreme, the right that has gone on and adopted these extreme measures. Look at the left and who is supported. You have protests for terrorism. You have rallies for terrorism all across the freaking country. In all of these, supposed institutions for higher learning, but they are indoctrination camps. That's what, these colleges and universities, that's what they are. The left has completely gone in the extreme with their views of life, with their views of the law, with their views of just everything. They sit there and they will blame Israel for what has happened. They'll sit there and say that killing an unborn child is a reproductive right, when it isn't at all. It's, and they don't care about a nation's sovereignty. That's pretty obvious here with, I was watching Fox News at work, and Ted Cruz was on Fox, and he was saying something like 9.6 million people have come across. I've also seen numbers of 12 million that have come across in just 3 years since this doofus face has been president. They're bringing drugs, they're bringing their crime, they're bringing, I've never mentioned this before, but one thing that I can't stand is when these people And then you've got, well, I'll go into the story here. My mind's going 5 million times a minute. Like, all right, I got to do this. Anyway, ADD, I guess. I don't know. But I had well, I still do. He's passed away, but because, and I'm still friends with him, his family, and everything like that. But one of my great friends was actually killed by an illegal who was here. My friend was just headed to work, and at 6 a.m. he did EMS like I did. He did it in Utah. I was in Texas when I did it. And he was just headed to work, sitting at a light, ready to go, get on the truck and answer calls and all that kind of stuff. And some drunk illegal flew into the back of him and my friend ended up dying because of his injuries due to that accident. And this was years ago. This it wasn't because of Biden or anything, although Obama and Biden were the presidents, so president and vice president. But it's just these people. My friend is now dead because of somebody who came here illegally. And how many other stories are like that around the nation, where they're bringing their gangs, they're bringing, the criminals are just coming across, and it's not these little families with like 3 little kids and a grandma and a grandpa, and there might be like one of those families in tens of thousands of these military-aged men that are just pouring across our border, in them instead of teaching our own kids to read and write and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, they kick the kids out and they're like, sorry, we're going to use this for the illegals. I think because the national outrage and just the outrage by the parents in that local area of New York, the doofuses over there took them out and put the kids back in. But the extreme is not the right. MAGA, make America great again. That is they cannot stand to have America be great. They can't stand it. They cannot stand the fact that Americans want America to be great. I mean, the prime minister or whatever they call her, in Italy, she wants Italy to be great. The Argentinian president, he wants Argentina to be great. It's just these elitists. It's not Republican really versus Democrat. It's the elitists versus the people. And these elitists, they think that they're so much better than the rest of us, that they can dictate whatever they want, and you have to go through with it, or they'll cancel you, or they'll cut you off. I mean, look at what they did to Donald Trump. He was a sitting president, and he was banned from a social media site of Twitter because they did not like what he was saying. Thank goodness for Elon Musk for buying that out and then getting rid of all of the doofus faces that were there. There was this one video I saw of him where he has fired, I guess 80% of them either quit or he fired them, and he's like, yeah, well, if you're not a social activist group or organization, yeah, you really don't need like 80% of your workforce. But it's just these people are completely out of touch with how real Americans are, not these these elitists that live clear in New York, or these LA people, Hollywood elitists, or the ones in the Beltway in DC. That was the one thing. I want to go into to Texas now, but that is the one thing when we made the drive. I would not recommend driving to West Palm Beach from the DFW area in one sitting. It is not a very pleasant experience. I was completely. We did it on the way back because we were originally going to stop in like Mobile, Alabama, because that's about the halfway point. It's about a little over 9 hours both ways, so it's it's right in halfway between us. But then we decided, once we hit the road, we're like, let's just go. let's just get home. We were all kind of tired. And by the time I pulled into I was like 30 minutes from our house, and I was just everybody else was sleeping, and I was just trying my darndest to stay awake. I was chewing gum like a smoker would smoke cigarettes. Anyway, it was just a lot. But on the way there to Florida, we were driving through. You know, you drive through. Obviously, you drive through Texas, you drive through Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and then you get into Florida. But we drove through Vicksburg, which is in Mississippi. And I was talking to my wife about it. She, you know, because Vicksburg was coming up, and I was sitting there thinking about this the Revolution, Civil War, where in a little bit of, if you don't know, I love history, so you'll have to kind of bear with me a little bit. But the Vicksburg, which is the site of a major battle during the Civil War here. But I had it ready. Where did it go? Anyway, so there was here we go. Let me pull it up here. So the siege of Vicksburg. So it was from May 17th to July 4th of 1863. Ulysses S. Grant put a siege on Vicksburg, which was part of the Confederacy back then. Grant had a number around 77,000. The leader of the Confederacy there was John Riker Miller. Army of Mississippi, his strength was 33,000. So the casualties for this battle was almost the entire army of the Confederacy, and almost 5,000 of Grant. So he came in, and I was sitting there thinking as we were driving up, and I'll go into all the other parts of it, like the battle and all that stuff, but I was thinking as I was driving through what it looked like, 100 and, 60 years ago, something like that, and just what they went through. How that all came about. And something interesting is that the last time states decided to take a presidential candidate off their ballot was Lincoln. Was right before the Civil War. So states are doing that now, or trying to do that with Trump. Colorado's trying to do that. There are other states that are trying to do that. And he has not been convicted of what they are saying. He's had no trial. He's had no court date. He hasn't been convicted by any jury. There hasn't been a judge that has signed off on any conviction. They're just doing it just because. So are we headed again for that direction? Are we headed again for another civil war here in the United States? Is this Biden administration and the war that they're raging here with Texas, is this the modern day Fort Sumter? I certainly hope not. I certainly hope not. There are a number of states that have sent aid, sent National Guard troops to the border, to our southern border, to help Texas, to help Governor Abbott. He had a nice press conference while he was down there at the border, and where other states have DeSantis, Florida is one of them. There's a whole bunch of others that have as well. There's Georgia, Virginia, Montana, South Dakota, Oklahoma, among the few that have. You've either pledged help, support. But this is what Governor Abbott had to say while he was at the southern border.
From Oklahoma. They're here to both tour the border step up and secure a border that President Biden has abandoned. And there are some very simple reasons why we're having to do this. The primary reason is because Joe Biden is not doing his job. Joe Biden is responsible for the largest amount of illegal immigration in the history of the United States. And there are deadly consequences because of that. More people are dying per year under Joe Biden as president than under any president in the history of the United States. The border between the United States and Mexico is turning into a deadly welcome mat for the migrants who are coming here. As an example, just last year alone, there was an all-time record number of people who died crossing the border. 853 people died last year. One was an 8-year-old child who died in federal detention. Another was a 5-year-old who died drowning coming across the river. And then just last month, here in the Eagle Pass area, there was an infant who drowned crossing the border. That was before that we put the buoys up. A little infant drowned, and not a peep out of Washington, D.C. about that. And then who can forget the 53 people who perished in a tractor trailer not far from here, just down or up the road in San Antonio? It's for reasons like this why the United Nations, an agency of it, declared the border between the United States and Mexico as the deadliest land border in the entire world. Joe Biden is responsible for that deadly border. But us governors, we're not going to stand idly by and see this disaster wreaked upon the United States. And that's why they have come here and why they are sending their personnel here. Because they know that we as states share an obligation. And that's to step up and respond to this unparalleled catastrophe caused by Joe Biden. And let me be clear. We are fully authorized by the Constitution of the United States of America to do exactly what we are doing, and that is to secure the border. Next up is going to be Governor Reynolds from Iowa.
Thank you, Greg.
He's right. If he sent out a message where it says Governor Abbott issues statement of Texas's constitutional right to self-defense. Governor Greg Abbott today issued a statement on Texas's constitutional right to defend and protect itself as President Joe Biden continues to attack Texas and refuse to perform his duties to secure the border. He says, he quotes here, the executive branch of the United States has a constitutional duty to to enforce federal laws protecting states, including immigration laws on the books right now. Read the statement. President Biden has instructed his agencies to ignore federal statutes that mandate the detention of illegal immigrants. The failure of the Biden administration to fulfill the duties imposed by Article 5, Section 4 has triggered Article 1, Section 10, Clause 3, which reserves to the state the right of self-defense. For these reasons, I have already declared an invasion under Article 1, Section 10, Clause 3 to invoke Texas's constitutional authority to defend and protect itself. That authority is the supreme law of the land and supersedes any federal statutes to the contrary. So here we go. We have a governor here from Texas who is desperately trying to do his job to defend our southern border, to defend the great state of Texas. And to help save American lives. And then you have Doofus Face, you have demented President Poop My Pants, President pooped his pants, and I pooped my pants. Who is attacking Texas? As much as the vacation that we had in Florida, as much as I loved it down there, it's just gorgeous and beautiful. I mean, the landscape down there is just absolutely amazing. And then you come back and it was cold and it was rainy and it was nasty here in Texas. As much as I absolutely loved Southern Florida, if we ever moved there, I would be the guy with the Texas flag in my yard. I'll tell you what. Because when my family moved down here in 2001, right after 9/11, I came to visit, and then I went on a 2-year service church mission from 2002 to 2004. I went to Virginia, a great southern state. Love Virginia. But when I came to visit Texas, and when I would go to the Alamo in San Antonio, it felt different. I've been to the battlefield of San Jacinto, right outside of Houston, about I don't know, from where we lived out in West Houston. Out there in Katy, it was about an hour or so to San Jacinto. That was the battlefield that secured Texas's independence from Mexico, where Sam Houston just kicked the crap out of Santa Anna in like 18 minutes. I mean, it was sweet revenge for what happened in the Alamo a few weeks prior to that. But when I went to go, I've been to the Alamo several times, and I absolutely love San Antonio. It is a beautiful city. I love the river walk. I love the river going through the city. It's amazing. It's beautiful. But Texas is under attack right now. The United States is under attack. He listed all the states and governors that are sending troops, sending support to Texas so that Texas can secure the border. The job of the federal government, that is the job, is to secure our borders, to secure the American people, and they don't care. Biden, doofus face McGee over there, doesn't care about any of it. Because I guess they look at those people as potential voters. That's probably what they were like. Hey, come on in. We gave you free, we gave you like $2,200 and a whole bunch of free crap. Come in here and please vote for me. It's probably what they're thinking with all these people that are come in. Because the policies of this guy and this administration, I mean, they are the most, it's just astounding that every single one of these people is just so incompetent and cannot do any of their job. They can't answer any questions. The press asks them questions. Peter Ducey's amazing. He's from Fox, and he asks hard questions, and they don't ever answer. It's just not. KJP, Kareem. I always want to say Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, but that's not right. Whatever her stupid name is. She can't answer questions. She just can't do it. We're under attack. We are being invaded, and the amount of millions are coming across our border. And they're not doing it with weapons. They're not coming across brandishing any kind of weapon, but they are coming with their drugs. They're coming with their criminals. Then they come here with their country that they came from, their flag. They'll fly that thing probably all over the place, but it's a very different people that are coming here than did that of Ellis Island when they were excited. They were proud to come here to America because they knew America was a beacon of hope to the rest of the world. Now they come here and they want a handout. They want our taxes. They want everything paid for. They're upset, that they have to leave their 5-star hotels that they've taken over in New York to go to these, shelter areas. They don't like that. They don't want to go. They don't want to leave those areas because they don't have to pay for any of it. That's coming out of our pockets. So hopefully you like that. It's just we're under attack, people. So hopefully you're ready for that. There's the Newsweek. Newsweek, the cover of Newsweek is Texit. It's spelled Texit, like exit. And the caption reads, "Can the Lone Star go it alone?" Oh yeah, we are the 8th largest economy in the world. Yeah, I think we'll be okay. If it comes down to that, yeah, Texas will be okay. Well, I'm sure the surrounding states will clamor onto us, and yeah, we'll be just fine there, darling. We'll be just fine down here in Texas. We have our own natural resources. We've got our own ports. We've got, we're okay. We're okay down here in Texas. So if you want to come down here, if you want to join us, you want your state to join us, let your representatives know. But who knows if they actually represent us or if they represent themselves. But yeah. I mean, just to show you how just stupid this administration is, what is this guy's name? John Kirby was asked about the border, and it didn't really go very well for him.
Southern border?
Do we have a what?
Do we have a southern border?
Yes, ma'am. Of course we do.
Then how come people can flow across it every single day? Hundreds and thousands of people over the 300,000 people in December.
We're working very hard to try to fix that, Martha. That's why we need congressional action. That's why the president asked for additional funding, more than $6 billion in the supplemental to try to get border security enhanced. I mean, I think you and I are obviously not going to see the policy solutions the same way, and I respect
I'm just
that.
looking for
But
results. I'm saying if you're concerned about the number of people crossing, you're not getting results. So at some point you have to say, we got to do something different.
Yeah. So there you go. Oh, these people are the worst. These people, yeah. So they just want more money. How about you tell your border agents to stop cutting the wire and stop removing the buoys that are in the water? Why don't you just secure the border in the first place and tell people to turn around and go back? Tell them to turn around and go back to Mexico where they came from. Say, nope, turn around. You got to go that way. This area is closed off. Why don't you tell them to do that? So, yep. We are under attack. We are being invaded, and they don't care, quite frankly. But, yeah, and there's plenty of more stupid stuff. Just to kind of show you how much Joe Biden really does not care about the American people. That train derailment in Palestine, Ohio, there was that huge black cloud that came over all over the place up there. That was back in March last year. Yeah, Biden still hasn't been there. No, he still hasn't been there because he doesn't care about American people. So here's this.
I've spoken with every official in Ohio, and I will be influencing. Is there a plan for him to go?
I don't have any trips to preview for you at this time. He's been to Ohio many
March
times
3rd.
before during his administration, so it's not unusual for him to go there.
March 6th.
I don't have anything to share on a planned visit for the president to Ohio.
March 10th.
It's time for him to get down. And he said when he was asked the question that he will be there. When is going
March 22nd.
So the plans are underway, discussions are underway, just don't have anything locked in.
About 5 weeks ago,
April 10th.
Biden said that he would be going to East Palestine, Ohio at some point. Does the president still feel the need to visit Ohio?
Well, once the president said it, so I will keep that. He keeps to his word.
Oh, sure he does.
If he says the president said he's expecting to at some time, the president means what he says. As the president said,
May 3rd.
To East Palestine. I don't have any travel plans at this time. So I'm just going to repeat what the
July
president
5th.
said. He will travel to the area, to East Palestine. Just don't have anything to share on travel or upcoming upcoming dates. The president intends to
July
go.
26th.
Don't have a time or a date to preview at this time.
September 2nd.
East Palestine, Ohio. You came here. How come you haven't gone to East Palestine yet? Well, I haven't had the occasion to go to East Palestine. There's a lot going on.
The president
That was his little trip to Maui.
is going to go to
September
East Palestine.
5th.
I don't have a time or date to announce at this time, but he will go. I don't have anything.
January 3rd of this year.
President at this time.
So, yeah, he's going to get right on that. Lickety split. President Biden will be right up there to visit you in East Palestine, Ohio. So, yeah. See, they just don't care. They don't care about you. They don't care about me. They don't care. These elitists don't care. But I don't want to end on this awful reality. So let's do a little fun thing here. I told you to do a little parody. There's a whole bunch of other stuff too that's fun, but I'm going to do this one. So this one in particular, one guy, he's going to say everything word for word that Biden has said in his little screw-ups.
Someone kidnapped Molly!
Corn Pop.
Who's Corn Pop?
Corn Pop was a bad dude, and he ran a bunch of bad boys.
Who's gonna stop him?
I'm the best qualified people for this job.
Tex, you can't go after Corn Pop. He's killed dozens of men.
A billion worse. Excuse me. 1,400,000,000,000,000,000,000,740 billion. 200 million people have died. Probably by the time I finish this talk.
That can't be right.
We choose truth over facts.
Whatever. My point is, it's too dangerous. Why do you care so much about stopping Corn Pop?
He poses a national stance's threat, and he's been stroking violence in our cities. When we were in high school, I'd take him behind the gym and beat the hell out of him.
Well, don't go alone. At least take Black Pete with you.
The great Negro of the time.
Thanks.
Oh, man.
Please don't say it like that.
He looks like LLJ Cool J. He's got bigger biceps than my thighs.
Stop calling him a boy.
I'll help you capture Corn Pop.
Oh.
But I heard he's in Indian territory.
You cannot go to a 7-Eleven or a Dunkin' Donuts unless you have a slight Indian accent.
No, not that type of Indian. And for Black Pete's sake, don't say it like that.
Oh my gosh.
So you think you can stop me just because you teamed up with this kid? Look, Fat, black kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids.
Hey, don't say it.
Oh
Now hand over
my
Molly.
gosh.
I would love to hear, but I do not know what happened to Molly. You're a lion dog face pony soldier. What? I don't know what that means. You know what that means?
No, nobody does. Oh.
So, Tex, you got anything you want to say before I kill you? This is the appropriate place to make the speech I'm about to make. Yeah, sure, whatever, just go for it. We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men and women created by God.
You know the thing.
I got hairy legs that turn brown in the sun.
Oh my gosh.
The kids used to come up and reach in the pool and rub my leg down straight and watch the hair
Go
come down.
up.
So I learned about roaches. I learned about kids jumping in my lap.
And I love kids jumping in my lap.
Does anybody have any idea what he's talking about?
No.
So you go ahead. You stack spaghetti sauce in a store. And you control the guy or the woman who brings out the carts on a forklift. What the heck are you talking about, Tex? Transmission blood pressure!
Malarkey, coming soon to one theater in Scranton, Pennsylvania.
Oh man. So, yep, those are actual quotes from our president. Oh my gosh. Well, on that lovely note, hopefully you've enjoyed the show. Please like, subscribe, all that good fun stuff. And if you want to find other fun things such as this, there's Facebook, X, YouTube, TikTok, and Truth Social, KNR Show on all of those. So thank you very much. Will be a new episode again next week. And we'll do this all fun stuff all over again. I'm sure there'll be plenty more. There's plenty of stories out there. And hopefully you enjoyed it. So, yes. Pray for us. Please get out and vote, and let's change. I mean, we could go back to right where we were under Trump in the same amount of time, and things will be great. So hopefully you've enjoyed the show. And I will talk with you next time. See you later. Bye-bye.